ndani handu wala kukia umwenye wanje tagut longo la kukia akwetele no takete kibashikan shundika karepo otakete kelwana mbide naniyo nganga ndiri musana mboka tanditi otakete naniyo takwasere shigwana.
The waiting is over in Namibia. It's homecoming time for Andimba Toivo-ya-Toivo. He's been gone a long time, 18 years in South African prisons, another 5 years in exile. Now Toivo is one of 40,000 Namibians to be reunited with their families. His mother Elizabeth is past 90. She's blind.
Zagaruka, 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 zagaruka.
You must remember and consider the future of your children and your grandchildren. SWAPO's aims and objectives is to uplift the living standards of the oppressed of this country.
Toivo is one of the founders of the Namibian independence movement, SWAPO. It was 40 years ago that a handful of people began to protest against South African rule. Now, independence is close enough to taste.
SWAPO! SWAPO! Alunda! Alunda!
In the course of the struggle, Toivo faced the death sentence in a South African courtroom. His statement from the dock became a manifesto for Namibian nationalists.
I know that the struggle will be long and bitter. I also know that my people will wage that struggle whatever the cost. Only when we have been granted our independence will the struggle stop. Only when our human dignity has been restored to us as equals of the whites will there be peace between us.
After 23 years of war, there's an international settlement. A force from the United Nations is in place to supervise Namibia's first free elections. But South Africa remains in charge.
Namibia, which is an international responsibility, is still a colony of South Africa, which has been declared as an illegal occupier of our country. But to our surprise, they are still in control. This is really injustice committed against the Namibian people.
When Toivo was young, black Namibians were not allowed to leave their tribal homelands without special permission. Now he discovers a landscape rich in minerals, but often hostile to human habitation. The Germans were the first to colonize Namibia. They nearly exterminated several tribes. When the South Africans took over during the First World War, they added their particular brand of segregation.
The problem of Namibia is that it is a vast country, but the minority whites are the ones who own the land. And the majority blacks, they don't own anything, and they are the workers who produce the wealth of this country, and they are living in squalid. I used to work in the kitchen here.
Together with his daughter Elizabeth, Toivo returns to the farm where he first worked for white people, farmers of German origins. He was 17. In 1 year as a kitchen boy, he earned $15.
After finishing my contract, I felt I will never work again for a white man. I must go back to school.
Peter Schoenecker is the grandson of Toivo's boss. He grew up here when Toivo and the other workers were bound like slaves to their master by the contract system. That system has ended, but life on the farm has done little to prepare either side for the changes now taking place in Namibia.
Elizabeth.
Oh, Mr. Schoenecker.
Morning. Yeah, well, actually, we don't know each other.
Yes.
You and Mr. Toivo.
Yes.
Yes,
I think I know your father and your mother.
Yes.
Is this your wife?
This is my wife, yeah.
The Schoeneckers are third-generation Namibians, or Sudvesters, as they say. To receive someone they thought of as simply a terrorist would have been inconceivable before the peace process started.
So we can start talking with each other and not shooting at each other any longer. I think you've made a wise decision. We could have had this 10 or 11 years
But you didn't
prior.
want to. You didn't want us to talk. What
No,
else could we do?
no.
You didn't want us to talk.
We've invited you in. When was it? All right. I can't say not we. We were always ready. Yeah. We people from this land, from this country.
From which land?
From this
I'm
country.
also from this country.
Yeah, but you were living in the.
I'm from this country.
You were living outside, and we were
I
still
went
living
outside
inside.
because you people, you whites, didn't want to talk with us.
No.
Yes.
8 workers and their families live on the Schoenecker farm. Their grandparents roamed these plains with their cattle until they were conquered by the German army. Toivo sees many changes. The workers live in brick houses, they wear shoes, they have running water. A family's pay is food and $20 a month. There's one worker left from Toivo's time, Old Yoram.
I have been living here all this time. You should have taken me with you. I could have gone to school, I could have seen the world, I could have been a big man like you. Remember, we slept 6 in the shack. When it rained, we got soaked. Sometimes the roof blew away.
The South African government creates hostility by separating people and emphasizing their differences. Separation is said to be a natural process. Why then is it imposed by force? And why is it that the whites have the superiority?
Katutura is the township for black Namibians in the capital, Windhoek. It's far removed from the white population and divided along tribal lines. People didn't want to live here. In 1959, the protest against Katutura changed the course of Namibia's history. 13 people died when police attacked a peaceful demonstration. The campaign against Katutura had become a mass movement, and the South African authorities decided time had come to use force.
This massacre was already a turning point in the history of our struggle. We used to follow the philosophy of Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King of nonviolence, but and we hoped that perhaps the Western world will come to our assistance. But we realized that all our appeals to the Western world fell on deaf ears, and there was no other alternative, particularly in 1966, when the International Court gave the judgment which was against us, and we felt that there was no other alternative but to resort to the armed struggle.
Other African nations were gaining independence. Young Namibians turned to the Swapo guerrillas. Toivo had become an organizer in the north. When the first attacks took place, he was arrested and taken to South Africa.
No, sir.
You're gonna shit yourself tonight, Kafir. And there's no United Nations to help you.
Toivo has never seen this teleplay. It's based on the defense lawyer's account of what happened to him in the hands of the South African Special Branch. Close friends and family have joined him to watch.
We're gonna make a new boy of you.
Then I hated a white man. I could even smell a white man coming from a distance. This how the hatred creates in one smile.
It was a time full of frustration, full of nightmares, and full of anything which is bad. As me as a kid, and all my brothers and sisters and nephews and cousins, all those who were related to this man, were thinking that maybe they will kill him.
37 SWAPO members went on trial. They all got the same treatment. Among them were Jonya Otto and Jason Mutumbulwa.
I had nothing more to tell these guys. And if they were not going to kill me now, and if there is a gun in front of me, I better take it and use it against me.
You come to that stage of not feeling any pain, you know, the way they work with you. But it's a sickening thing. That brutality, it's really unhuman.
The prisoners expected to hang. An international campaign saved their lives. Most were taken to Robben Island. Toivo was kept there for 16 years.
We have suffered. We do not, however, feel that our efforts and sacrifice have been wasted. We believe that what has happened may persuade the whites of South Africa that we and the world may be right. And they may be wrong.
Toivo was born in the strip of northern Namibia known as Ovamboland. It's the home of half of Namibia's population and SWAPO's bastion. Finnish missionaries gave him his name, Toivo-ya-Toivo, meaning child of hope. His sister Shanda still lives where they grew up. Shanda's kraal is built the way they've done it here for hundreds of years. As a boy, Toivo's job was to repair the fences to keep the wild animals out. Life on the inside is tidy, secure. Outside, the war has turned people's lives upside down. Neighbors are leaving for town. The countryside is emptying. An entire generation has grown up under fire. All parts of life came to revolve around the war. Vast shanty towns grew up around the South African bases. Thousands made their living from the war machine. There was no neutral zone. Special forces made up of black Namibians are now almost alone in the colonial army. The regular South African troops are gone. At the height of the war, these special units did most of the killing. They know the northern bushland like the palm of their hand. This was the heart of the war zone, where anyone was a potential enemy. Even with the ceasefire, they combed the kraals, always making their presence felt. Thomas Ndongo fought the war on both sides. A SWAPO guerrilla, wounded and captured, he had a choice: join his captors or be killed. He became part of a force called Kafut, or crowbar.
We forced people to give us information. We gave them electric shocks, we hit them, we raped the women, we burned down people's houses, and we even killed them.
There were parts of this war South African conscripts did not have the stomach to wage. Kafut was created to be the Namibian face of the occupation force. When the white troops departed, Kafut simply continued in the guise of an ordinary police force. There are 15,000 of these men in northern Namibia. They're for the most part illiterate, trained only to kill.
We're still afraid to go out at night, even to go to the toilet. They might kill us if they get a chance.
If there's one picture of the war etched into Namibian minds, it's this. On the first day of the ceasefire, SWAPO guerrillas came out of hiding to turn themselves into the UN forces, but only Kafut was waiting. The first day of peace became the worst day of the war. We'll always be Kafut, they sing, as they salute their departing officers one last time. We'll never forget what we've learned. The Kafut have received their last South African paycheck, but many ask whether they can ever be part of a free Namibia.
It's always the case whenever there has been a war in a country, between one country and another, people have to forget the past and to start afresh again. It is just unfortunate in our case that our own people have been used against us. But there is nothing we can do about it now. We cannot take them and shoot them or throw them into the sea. We have to re-educate them so that they can contribute to the reconstruction of our country. That's all we can do.
But there's also a plea for a different kind of reconciliation. Several hundred members of SWAPO return home with stories of detention and torture at SWAPO's own hands. They were accused of spying for South Africa. They say they were innocent and show their scars.
I was tortured in different ways, at times hanged upside down, at times on my wrists, at times buried alive, at times tied onto a car which was dragging me and beaten.
The war is the war. And you can be on top there giving the orders to your subordinates. And you expect those orders to be carried according to your desires and wishes. But your officers will do something else.
On the eve of independence, SWAPO itself is being asked whether it will take steps to ensure that justice is done.
I don't want to make people believe perhaps something which may not happen. I don't know myself what will happen. But speaking as a human being, I think perhaps this is something which we will have to face after independence. Talking as a human being.
Toivo has rediscovered the country, but like the horizon itself, control over it sometimes recedes before his eyes. Toivo cannot even enter Walvis Bay. Namibia's only deep-sea port is to remain under South Africa. Such are the terms of the independence agreement. Behind the docks, the South Africans have been expanding their big military base. They have the key to Namibia's exports and imports, and they intend to keep it well guarded.
When Namibia becomes independent, then we'll start talking to them on the question of Walvis Bay. But we are also hoping that sooner there will be a democratic and non-racial society in South Africa under the leadership of ANC. And if this happens, then the whole question of Walvis Bay will be resolved without any problem.
Rapid and fundamental changes are on the agenda. The challenge is to make all Namibians share in the riches that are held by a few, and to convince those who have a lot to lose that they should work together with those who have everything to gain.
In an independent Namibia under a SWAPO government, Shonega will still own his farm, but we cannot allow Shonega or whoever to own more farms, whereas there are other people who have no land. We will have to negotiate with them. Of course, we are not going to nationalize their farms, but we will have to negotiate with them so that part of the land can be given to the landless people so that they can also produce their own produce.
We hope with the time we'll come together and sit down and reconstruct this country for the better of all of us. We are going to benefit, he's going to benefit. This is our country we have to live in.
We have different views, but it's for us to keep on talking.
Well, if we
because
don't
we
talk,
all live in this country.
If we don't talk, we can't understand each other.
Right.
That's one of the big things.
It's a hard time for us to keep on talking.
Yes.
And the more we talk, you understand me, then I understand you.
Yeah.
Then I hated a white man. I could even smell a white man coming from a distance. This is how the hatred creates in one's mind. But now, I am a changed man. I realize, oh, I was wrong. This is not what we should behave. We are all human beings, and we all live in this world. And we in Namibia here, we have a vast country with a lot of wealth. We can all live together here in peace and harmony, black and white, green and red, or whatever. There's a great change in me now.
Viva SWAPO! Viva! Viva SWAPO! Viva! Viva SWAPO! Viva! One Namibia! One nation! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.